The new NBA and MLB season is in full swing, and BetOnline has you covered with the best odds and biggest promotions and live in-game betting on all your favorite teams. Head to BetOnline today to stay updated on all the action. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Road trips bring with them a sense of limitless possibilities. Endless stretches of highway, the promise of new sights, and the thrill of adventure just around the bend. But they also come with a certain uncertainty, especially when it comes to dining. You're miles from home, surrounded by fast food chains and gas station snacks, desperately searching for a place to fill your belly and bring a taste of home. And maybe, just maybe, a place that becomes a landmark, a part of the journey itself. One brand provides just that, and it's no wonder that nearly 40% of its customers are travelers. What started as a humble refuge for road-weary souls in 1969 has blossomed into a nearly $1.5 billion empire with over 660 locations across the U.S. With a mix of comfort food, nostalgic decor, and a laid-back, down-home vibe, this brand has created a space where you feel like you've stepped into a simpler time, where a warm biscuit or a plate of fried chicken can make you forget about the miles you've traveled and the miles still to come. And that's why this week's On Brand is on Cracker Barrel.
We're all jazzed up, really having a cow. We want your favorite show, and it's on right now. It's on brand.
Welcome to On Brand with Jon and Marisa. I am Jon.
I'm Marissa.
Oh,
we're back, baby.
Hey, we are back. So not only I have literally not seen you since we recorded the FAQ episode. Right after that episode, I left for Ohio. I was gone for like 2 weeks. You went away for a while. This is our first time seeing each other.
Oh my gosh.
Feels like it's been forever.
It's fantastic to be back in studio.
Oh my God. And I gotta say, I'm a little distracted. About 10 minutes before we hit that big red record button, Alistair said that I looked good.
Ooh.
And I can't get that out of my head. I feel like a cocky bitch going into this show.
Are we about to have a showmance? That's a Survivor term.
You can stop the hunt for his wife because I think Alistair has picked me.
You do look good. Are you officially single too? Should we extend? Because I've been, saying Al is single, but technically you're single too. Would you like to be on the open market to the on-brand community? Are you ready for that?
That's a big question for this platform at this moment. Long answer, yes. Short answer,
It is technically shorter. Okay, well, we'll mull that over. The sexual tension in here, you could cut it with a knife between you and Al Pal.
I may just record shirtless today. I hope that doesn't bother anybody.
Al, you going to be okay? He's going to short circuit his computer with drool.
So we have a lot to talk about. And now I got to say, I know we've talked about it for months.
Sure.
We are so close to launching off-brand. And I bring that up because I made a list of I have a document called On-Brand Banter of just things I want to bring up.
Yeah.
And that list gets long when we don't see each other for 2 or 3 weeks.
Fast food establishments who have wronged you.
McDonald's. Yeah, that's one of them. I've got a brand rant. I haven't had one in so long.
Oh, great.
You call that a McValue menu? Don't even get me started. I mean, should we do that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, we will real quick. Listen, I don't want to start the year off with a rant.
First brand rant of 2025. We need a music cue.
Okay, just really quick. So for a week, I've been getting pop-ups from McDonald's and emails because I'm on all the email lists, and they're like, January 7th, McValue, you are going to have your socks blown off. So we're all like, what is it? They've clearly lost all their customers because they have $20 Big Macs now. They're trying to bring me back. Everyone's
back knocking down the door of Red Lobster, the new CEO. What is that?
We're recording in the middle of a hurricane right
What
now.
was that?
What was that?
Oh my God!
I thought that was like a end of the world alarm. Al, keep that in the show.
Weird harmonica from hell.
It was like a harmonica, a one-noted.
Oh my God! Are we on a Carnival cruise line? God.
It is really windy here.
I'm it's going to take some time to recover from that physiologically, but I'll be okay. Tell me about the McValue menu.
What if that was McDonald's? They knew I was ranting and they're like angered. They angered the gods. Holy crap. I mean, now this seems dumb, but I'm still mad. So they've been saying this is going to be great. I'm like so excited. I mean, so excited. I could sleep most of the night. And it's like, what is it going to be? So it finally comes out today.
You looking at your alarm clock, waiting for McDonald's to finally open. You slept in your clothes, too excited.
Okay, I sleep in my clothes anyway. And I'm not going to lie, I did check the app at like 12:10 because I just happened to be up. I wasn't going to go there. Here, you know what the McValue menu is?
99-cent burger.
That's what it should be, Mar.
That's what it should be.
That's what it should be. No, it's a handful of things like the Egg McMuffin. Buy one at normal price. They'll sell me another one for $1.
Isn't that like on par with like what the regular coupons are?
Yeah. And you know what? I'm not looking for two. I'm one. If you go on these apps anymore, like just scroll down the coupons they give you and look at the prices. They're all the coupons now are for like, if you buy 9 chicken sandwiches, we'll give you a free soda.
I can't stand that type of coupon. I can't stand it.
You know what? I'm not going to let that bring down 2025, but that was the first rant.
Did you write to corporate?
Not yet, but it's not off the table.
Okay,
do
great.
Better, McDonald's. Just do better.
Do better.
So I basically have this document of like 10 things that we could talk about, but I feel like we don't have time. So I'm thinking we've been away for 2 weeks. We both had Christmas. We both had New Year's. We can each pick one thing to discuss. So what do you want to tell me about the last 2 weeks?
I got to say, I was very happy to be back in a Publix.
Oh, right.
If everybody remembers, in May, I had gone to Publix previously. I still have not eaten at the Skyline Chili in Naples, but we didn't get to it. But I went to Publix again several times as I did on my previous trip. And I got to say, the way I am treated in a Publix, Los Angeles do better.
I mean, yeah.
I will tell you one experience. There was 2 experiences. I'll tell you the first one. And then I'll tell you the second one. Why not? I was walking. Every time I went and I did not get a cart, I got a basket because I underestimated how many groceries I was going to purchase. The sales there, you would love it. Huh. There's like selected items that are part of their special little promotion. So they have giant tables at the front with like tubs, and it'll be like, you know, a Gardetto snack mix, and it's like on like super sale, but they'll pick like 20 things to be on super sale. So it's like you walk by, you're like, oh, fun. Maybe I'll grab like a couple cans of Pringles. Well, you more than a couple.
Okay.
I would get a basket. Had a basket that was overflowing with like, my kids had the flu. It was terrible. I had a lot of materials. An employee stops by and says, let me get you a cart. Can you imagine that ever happening in a grocery store here? Literally, he brings over me a cart. He's showing me pictures of his daughter. We're chatting. We're talking about parenthood. One of the loveliest interactions I've ever had. The movie. We're both fans. The loveliest interactions I've ever had in a grocery store. Someone bring me a cart. My daughter fell down in the store. People rushed over to see if she was okay. She was fine, but it was like rushing over. If you could be like bloodied, you could have like a bone poking out in a grocery store here in Los Angeles.
I could.
You have.
Okay.
Al, look out. Unreal. The customer service, the friendly smiles, the free cookie at Publix. I did get a chicken tender pub sub. I ate a lot of chicken tenders in Florida. Something about it. I don't know.
That's awesome. Did you have that? Is this the place that has that sandwich?
The famous sandwich, the chicken tender pub sub. And it's like like chicken tenders are so good, and they chop them up and they put it on a big sub roll. They have like a Subway in there, but it's like with good stuff. So Publix, you have not let me down, and I would do anything to have you on the West Coast.
I've got to get to a Publix, and I've got to get to an HEB. I want to experience both of these places.
And me, grocery stores across the nation. I mean, there's your Netflix show. You and me.
I'm not even kidding.
I'm not.
I am not.
Do you think I'm kidding? Al, do you think I'm kidding? Me and John traversing the nation like at chain grocery stores?
I'm not even kidding. I want to do anything that'll get me on the road. I need to see more of this country. I mean, grocery stores in Ohio, they're fine. God. They're big. Like Kroger's is big, but Kroger's like, are you familiar with Kroger?
I mean, I know what it is, but I don't think I've ever been in one.
The largest grocery store chain in the country.
No.
So when I was growing up, that was our grocery store. Now they own like Ralph's, which is out here. They own all, but it's just Kroger. It's just like a big Kroger. It's not special. Jungle Gyms, of course, as you know, one of my favorite places to go.
I'm dying.
I spent a lot of time there, made a little video about all the weird candy canes that they had.
Where's my swag from Jungle Gyms?
Dump
out an entire carry-on suitcase of swag. Speaking of carry-on, John, how big was your carry-on your way back from Ohio for the holidays?
Too big.
Did you slip a little money to the curbside guy?
I slipped a little money to the curbside guy. I preemptively slipped a little money to the curbside guy. Because here's what happened. So I got to the curbside check-in, and there was a line. There never is, because my flight to come back is always at I have to get there. I get there about 4:30 in the morning. And there was a line of 6 people. But there was another curbside thing that nobody was at. So I snuck over there to pre-weigh my bag to see how much it was going to weigh.
They let you mess with the scales?
Nobody was paying attention. You just put it on yourself when you go up to the counter anyway. So I threw it on there. 53 pounds. Ooh. 53 pounds. The limit is 50. They'll let you go up to 52.
You're pulling out a shoe. You're pulling out a what?
I pulled out a chicken sandwich and 6 ribs.
Why?
I had some pork ribs.
Why were you
That's not what this story's
on
about.
Ribs?
Because I had them. The foods that I bring back, you wouldn't even believe it. So I pulled out this Ziploc bag of ribs and a chicken sandwich.
It gets worse than ribs, what you brought back?
I mean, it's so much
What
stuff.
is it? Rattle it off.
It's corn pudding. It's like my sister made me a steak. It's mashed potatoes. It's funeral potatoes from my friend's mom. It's a pumpkin loaf that's wrapped up in aluminum foil. It's probably a Cholito from Skyline and a couple of cheese conies, even though now I can buy. I mean, that's what I'm saying. My bag gets flagged every time. I don't even. If it didn't get flagged, I would be like, there's a problem with security, because there's so many different textures and materials in there that they have to double check some.
Yeah,
I bought
I
a
bet.
giant thing of Amish popcorn buttered salt. I don't know why. I'm at Jungle Gyms and I see these things. I'm like, do I need 12 ounces of? I don't eat popcorn ever.
I've never seen you eat popcorn.
I don't know the last time I bought popcorn, but I feel like I should have this butter on hand. It's from the Amish. Oh, fun little side note. I have a hack that I've been doing for the last few years, because I'm bursting out of everything, to a way that you can get another bag. If any other freaks are out there are like me and you just need another something.
If you're like John and you have a
Ribs.
suitcase busting with ribs and hams and puddings.
A way that you can get those on and not have them in your luggage, I now carry with me. If you buy something at the airport, you can bring that on. It does not count towards your carry-on, your
personal item?
Nope.
Okay.
So I now keep 2 Natalie's Candies bags in my luggage.
Oh,
and I will put potato
God.
chips in the, I will put extra stuff in there, just stuff that I don't want to get smushed or that I don't want to shove in my
I thought you were
luggage.
going to say, I was even going to kind of lightly judge you for that. You buy something at the airport and then you use that bag, you fill the bag with stuff. You bring a bag from home
that originally came from the airport.
Okay. This
Sometimes
is a
I
good
will.
hack.
Sometimes I will still buy something from, but I always have one on hand. But anyway, that's just a fun hack. Use it if you want. So anyway, my bag's 53 pounds. I'm like, I take out the ribs. I'm like, these ribs are probably a pound. I'm probably down to 52.
Could you just walk on an airplane eating a rack of ribs?
Yeah.
Because you're allowed a carry on, a personal item, and are you allowed a food?
Of course.
A free food?
Yeah.
And then you get on the plane and then you slip it back in your carry-on.
Well, here's what I did. So I pulled it out and I'm shoved it in my backpack. My backpack is already stuffed to the brim. And I pulled out $5 before he even got my ID. So I'm just standing there not fanning myself, but basically bro, this is yours. So let's figure this out. So then
A crisp $5 bill that could buy you 2 Egg McMuffins.
Yeah, well, they're 2 for $6. But now with the McValue menu, now they could. So I put my thing on the scale. He doesn't say anything. He just rings me out, and I give him the $5. And I was like, aha, it worked, because I know that it's at least 52 pounds, and he didn't say anything. And then I asked him, I was like, hey, would it be okay if I put this in the bag before you put it away? And I was able to put my ribs and sandwich back in the bag, up to 53 pounds, all for $5.
You with an armful of ribs as your bag is being weighed. I mean...
And the annoying thing is those ribs are still in my fridge. Now I've had them too long. They'll get tossed. I never got around to eating them. I just traveled the country with ribs. Some poor pig died. We took out his ribs. We cooked them. I bought them. Kept them in a freezer for a week, traveled across the country with them.
Greta Thunberg is not happy about this.
Smuggled a deal with a stranger on New Year's Eve to get the ribs to California. Let them sit another week through a windstorm, and tomorrow I'll toss them.
That sounds perfect.
Happy New Year. So...
Slip a little money to the curbside guy. Luggage tags will be some of our merch.
Yeah.
I think that'd be really cute.
That would be good.
That'd be really cute.
Hi, this is Chris Howard, host of Plugged In with Chris Howard. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for all your sports betting action. BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, scores, even live in-game betting while the games are being played. With a large selection of odds on everything from Major League Baseball, NHL, and UFC, and professional golf, BetOnline remains the number one source for all your sports wagering info. In between games, head over to the BetOnline's casino with all the top Vegas-style games, including poker and live casino. BetOnline, the game starts here.
Okay, so Cracker Barrel.
Cracker Barrel, have you ever been?
It is so funny that you ask. Cracker Barrel was on my list of places to go when I was in Ohio.
Oh
it's
my
one of only like
gosh.
2 things that I didn't get to, because the one that I could go to kind of easily, when you get off the exit of the freeway, you either go right or left. And I always had to go left, and it's right. So I never felt like...
Oh my gosh.
And on my last day, I was like, oh, I really wanted to go into a Cracker Barrel. I don't know why. I just haven't been in one in a while, and I wanted to go in the general store, because we had done the candy cane episode, and I wanted to see the penny candies or the stick candies and all that. But I have been one, but it's been a while.
Yeah, wow. That would have been so fun if you had gone.
I know. Now I'm bummed that I didn't. My only real association with them, and I don't know if this will come up in your research, there was a time where there was some controversy that they don't hire gay people. And I called them. And I was a dumb kid. And I was like, yeah, so I just wanted to know, do you hire gay people? And they didn't know what I was talking about. They're like, yeah, you would have to come in and fill out an application. And I was like,
will you hire me sight unseen?
Sight unseen?
I have no experience and I might not show up.
I have semen breath. They just hang up on me. So it wasn't as fun of a call as I thought it would be.
You were trying to do a little guerrilla journalism there.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, well, bless your heart.
Yeah, so that's all I really know about it. I mean, maybe I'll remember something. It's old-fashioned. I feel like it's one of the few places you could get fried okra, I'm assuming. I am a very big fan of chicken fried steak. I can almost guarantee that I can get that there.
You definitely can.
I love a country meal. I love a place that's got gravy all day. You'd be surprised how hard it is to find gravy.
You know, what we passed, there's a Waffle House where we were in Florida too, and they have gravy flowing.
And they're open 24 hours. We've got
Yeah.
Waffle Houses too. For some reason, it's not a place I ever stop. They're a little depressing.
Yeah.
It's mostly counter dining, and then there are some booths, but they're
It's a
small
bummer.
buildings, and
Yeah.
they're brightly lit. Waffles, no matter how quickly they get them to you, are cold. Like, they will not melt butter. I thought I was wrong the first time. I was like, could I actually get a fresh hot one? And she brought out I watched her make it. And
Their patented cold cook waffle system.
it's insane. I just want the butter. Oh, man, a waffle when you've got little, square
Ooh.
pools of butter in every little square.
Each little hot tub, little bubbling jacuzzi of butter in there.
Oh, man. And when
Shrink me down and take a dip in there.
just dip my little pointy tongue in that.
Oh, fantastic.
Well, let's do it. Let's talk about
So I wanted to do Cracker Barrel because I've always been, I long for the past. Cracker Barrel does seem to be one of those heavily nostalgic kind of places. It's rich Americana history. And so it's so up my alley, just even as a cultural anthropologist, which is what I consider to be myself.
I mean, they are definitely not. You are. And I'm sure you were probably researching this. You're like, I'm going to start churning butter.
Definitely.
But it's they're definitely not one of those places that has not felt any pressure to modernize their logo.
Yes.
I believe their logo is a big 70s orange and brown. There's a man by a barrel. And
You're right.
they do have a beautiful font. It seems like a homemade font, which I enjoy.
We love a custom font.
Yeah.
So I was excited there was a Cracker Barrel in Florida where I was. And Florida, just a fun fact, just to kick us off, has the most Cracker Barrels of any state. So I saw the opportunity. I thought, it might not be the most on theme for an episode that's going to be coming out on January 9th. You would think it might be a New Year's resolution, fitness, health.
Well, last year we did Goop. This year we'll do Cracker Barrel.
Sure.
Next year we'll do weights.
Yeah, they're both related in some way.
Yeah.
So I was excited to go, and I'll share my experience at the end.
Okay. So you did go as research for this? Or
I did go as research.
Happened to go, and then you're like, I'm going to do this show.
I kind of made everybody go with me as research for this.
Nice. We have them here in California, I think, but they're not in LA. They're you have to drive.
Yeah, they're on the way to Vegas, see, and there's only a handful of them.
Yeah, there's not many, but they definitely do have them in Cincinnati.
Maybe someday we can go to one together.
Yeah.
Shall we go on our little history ride?
I would love it.
In 1969, a Tennessee man named Dan Evins saw an unmet need. So the interstate is expanding. People are being connected to new places. They're going on road trips as like a means of vacationing. But people couldn't count on a consistent quality place to stop along the way. So they wanted to stretch their legs and refuel, find a good meal at a fair price. So then Evans had a vision to build an old country store. So this would be a place that kind of maintained the ingredients of country life to share with travelers on the road, families from nearby. And he also happened to be a representative for Shell Oil. So part of his idea was that he's combining the ventures to be like the ultimate road trip stop. So you're getting some gas, you're getting some food, you're getting a biscuit, you're getting on your way. Fill in your tank, both tanks.
I will say, when we would go on road trips as a kid, there was something about, I don't feel like Cracker Barrel is the place we would go, but there was a handful of chains that you kind of only went to when you were on a road trip. I think it was Stuckey's, and I think maybe Howard Johnson's, but it was like that same kind of thing where you like the families all pile out. And I feel like maybe that had been fading away by 69. Some of those places might have already been gone, but it's a very nostalgic thing, I'm sure, for a lot of people that are listening to this right now.
Yeah, it feels very like Route 66. I don't know. It feels very, very fun to imagine the family piling out of the car.
And it's like one of those places, they were all places where like the parents could like sit and have coffee, but they usually had a place where like the kids, like the shop, the kids could look around, you buy a Mad Libs, you get a couple new things for the trip, and everyone kind of got a break for a minute.
And I kind of alluded to that in the intro, that it's like, it's a destination in and of itself. So I was surprised to learn that so much of their clientele now is people who are like on the road, like truck drivers, but also families on vacation. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So the first Cracker Barrel location was built close to Interstate 40, just outside Lebanon, Tennessee. And it opened on September 19th, 1969. The original menu, very similar to the menu now. It's biscuits, grits, country ham, turnip greens. Now, what is a Cracker Barrel?
I mean, I would assume this goes probably back to the 1700s when we were getting goods from
dry goods, a dry goodery.
Half the shows we talk about, they started as a dry goods store.
You're right. So no country store was complete without Cracker Barrels. So soda crackers used to be shipped in barrels so that they wouldn't break in transit. Imagine you like calling, being like, all my crackers are broken. And they say that the barrels were essentially the water coolers of the day. So that's where you would see everybody. I'm
just
telling you,
munching on some crackers.
You're munching on soda cracker. Maybe you're a little car sick from the drive. I don't know. But there was a country store. You're sitting around. You're standing around the Cracker Barrel, and you're gabbing. You're catching up on the latest events.
I love that. I'm picturing saltines. That seems like that would have been the cracker of the day.
I think that was like the most. Imagine going back in time and giving like a Cracker Barrel person, like who all they've ever had is saltines, giving them like a Dorito. They would just like on the spot.
Or even if you want to eat a Ritz. That's where the it comes in Ritz. It's from the
They're quite buttery.
Oh man, they're so buttery and good.
So now still to this day, there's barrels on the front porches of Cracker Barrels as a nod to their namesake. So they grew in popularity in the early 1970s. Did you ever talk around a water cooler at any job? I meant to ask that.
No, but for some reason that reminded me of, I did work a job where there was a water cooler in the kitchen, but we would hang out in the kitchen and chat a little bit on a Monday morning. What happened this weekend? And this one time I was there and there was a few of us talking and I turned around and one of my coworkers was there and she had some jam on her lip. And I was like, oh, I don't remember her name. Beth, you have a little jam on your lip. And she was like, that's a zit cluster. And I was like, oh God, like one, way to own it. But two, I felt so bad that I had pointed out her zit cluster.
Oh, that is so funny.
So I will never let anyone know they have jam on their face again.
David has a funny story. He was sitting in class, like in middle school, and the girl who sat in front of him turned around and looked at him and said, do you play the trumpet or something? And he was like, no. And she's like, oh, because he had like a circle of zits around his mouth.
Aww.
Isn't that sad?
That is so, God, being a kid is tough.
It's really tough.
A kid. I was like in the workforce when mine happened. I was like a grown man. Being a kid is rough.
I'm sure she's telling this story on her podcast right now.
Gosh.
So as I said, they grew in popularity in the early 1970s, and the company started to focus on its branding. So they already by now had a recognizable name. It was time for a logo, an iconic logo, as you mentioned.
One of my favorite things. I wish I could sit in on these meetings when logos were created.
I'd give anything.
If I had a time machine, there's two things I would do. I'd go eat an original Big Mac, and I would go to the creation of the Cracker Barrel logo.
Well, it actually is probably much less exciting than that. There was a man named Bill Holly who worked as a graphic designer at Nashville's Bunting Group, still a design firm to this day, a marketing design firm. Evins had reached out to Holly through a friend's recommendation, and they began working together to create the Cracker Barrel logo, following one simple rule. Can you imagine what the one rule was for this designer?
Not orange. That it had to be orange?
He said the logo could not be corny.
That's your rule?
Since when is Dan Evins, the creator of Cracker Barrel, like the corn police? Like, it's the corniest restaurant there is. Like,
well, that's why he wanted to balance it out with a non-corny. I gotta say, it's not corny. Like, it is like...
Okay, it's timeless, sure. But saying he doesn't want anything corny sounds like he's like Justin Bieber or like Post Malone. Like, why does he care about corniness? Ridiculous. So Evans, he always said that he thought the original menus looked kind of corny. I don't know why he cares about corniness.
The funny thing is, I have a feeling in the early days, these places sold corncob pipes.
Sure.
I guarantee they did. And can I just say on this another side note, my brothers, I don't know if I've ever mentioned this before, when they eat an ear of corn, both Rob and Tom, when they are done with it, and this is not something that they try hard to do, it looks like a corncob pipe. There is not 1 ounce of like rogue flesh. When I eat it, it looks like I just like clawed it off with my hands. Like it's so sloppy. I've never seen anyone else do this.
They should make a tutorial. We can post it on our Instagram.
There's your Netflix movie, The Corncob Boys.
Okay. We're coming up with a lot of good ideas now. So Evans thought that the original menus looked kind of corny. He wanted a new logo. He said he wanted to evoke nostalgia, not in a corny way.
They just write out Cracker Barrel in corn cobs.
Evans recalled the memory of an older gentleman who sat on the front porch during summer. He wore overalls and might have been a farmer. So this is kind of what Bill Holly was set to work with. So Holly sketched Evans' vision of the older gentleman out on a napkin. So this was not a big boardroom meeting. If we went back in time, we would be just over Holly's shoulder as he sketched on a napkin.
Munching on some gravy and biscuits.
That's right. A man from a manufacturing company who fit Evans' description posed for Holly's illustration. And this man, the Cracker Barrel man, was nicknamed Old Timer.
I knew there was going to be somebody that posed for that thing. Yeah. I was waiting for it. I was hoping it was going to be like, I had my son sit and that's who, and I made him look a little taller. I knew that there was going to be.
Yeah, it was just like a guy from a manufacturing company. I'm sure he never saw a dime.
It's always just a nobody that never sees a dime. Probably had to pay for his own lunch at Cracker Barrel.
He died penniless.
Now I feel bad that I called him a nobody. I mean, we're all somebody.
Nobody.
His family's listening. They're like, that dad?
You know what? The fact that I don't even have his name.
Oh, he's a nobody.
He's a man from a manufacturing company, some blue-collar worker, the backbone of America, Cracker Barrel. Give me his name. A statue should be erected.
We want to put the credits behind the sign. No one will see it, but can you give us his name? Just put a man.
A nameless fool. So the likeness of Old Timer was taken from a real man, and there's some like lore that maybe he's inspired by a real character. Really, this is just somebody who fit the physical description, but Old Timer was also referred to as Uncle Herschel, who was Evans' actual uncle and later became like a Cracker Barrel ambassador. So he would like go out in the communities. He would hand out like cards for free Cracker Barrel meals to drum up business.
I love that.
So if anybody's listening to this and they're doing like bar trivia, the Cracker Barrel man is real, but it's not, you know what I mean? He's just a nameless man.
And Marissa and I are available to be brand ambassadors. I would love to be.
Oh, yeah.
Passing out coupons in a mall is my dream. My dream being keeping all the coupons myself and then never actually using them.
Wow, John, you got through all of your coupons in 15 minutes? Yeah, the mall was busy, let's say.
Just show up every day in a different wig. $3 off, please.
My mom did that when I had a lemonade stand as a kid. We lived on a cul-de-sac, so it wasn't very high traffic. And my mom, she would like go back in the house and put on like a funny hat and come back out and buy some lemonade, go back in, change a little look.
Oh my God, that's so cute. Can I tell you, when I was home for Christmas, my 5-year-old niece has this character she does where she plays a 70-year-old woman. So all of a sudden she'll just like, she'll hunch over and she'll start walking really slow.
That's cute.
And talk like a little old lady. And it's so cute.
That's sweet. Evans incorporated Cracker Barrel in February 1970, and then he starts to open more locations. By 1977, Dan and his investors, they had grown to over 13 Cracker Barrel locations. They opened all the restaurants along the interstate highway system to cater to truck drivers, as we said, families on vacation, travelers of all sorts.
Is Cracker Barrel the one? There's one where you could buy a book, or you could buy rent a cassette or a CD or a book, and then you could return it at any other Cracker Barrel or Stuckey. One of those places.
Wow, I haven't heard of that. It might be something else, unless I just missed it.
That was a thing.
That's fun.
That was a really smart idea.
Like a little library?
Yeah, so you just can keep getting new material, because this is way before Spotify.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely no Apple Music.
My dad was playing John Grisham books on tape.
Oh, my dad was cracking open a bottle of Planters Peanuts with the windows up. We're just trapped in that car. That smell. I mean, now I like them. I mean, we got to do Planters at some point. What is the coating on that peanut?
Yeah, we've talked about this, I feel like, recently. The most drinkable nut, a can of Planters peanuts. We're always talking about these cans of peanuts.
Oh, my God.
They're
I used
so
to have
good.
a boss that would drink cans of nuts during our screenings. And I'm like, I would just look at him with such disdain. And then I realized I look at people like that when they do things that I do also. But I find it repulsive when I see myself in somebody.
Planters should market like a drinkable jar of peanuts as a protein shake.
But it's not like on a smoothie. You're literally just crunching a mouthful of nuts.
Yes.
Okay, I like that.
By the mid-1970s, there was an oil embargo, and they had to stop selling gas, because at this point, all of those locations were also like gas stations and restaurants. And then they shifted the focus to just expanding the menu, and they're creating their unique customer experience, the stores, the gift shop, which is now iconic. So this is the Cracker Barrel brand mission via their website. The idea was simple. Give people a place where they feel at home, relax in a rocking chair, challenge their friends to a game of checkers, socialize, and enjoy a meal made with care. Few things compare to stepping inside a country store. The creak of a board underfoot, the glow of a fireplace, shelves lined with supplies and nostalgic memories. For us, these things represent some of the best parts about being in a community.
Okay, here's what I got to say about that. Nothing sounds worse than chomping on a chicken fried steak, sitting in a rocking chair, rocking on a creaky board, sweating by a fire.
Playing checkers.
Playing checkers. Checkers is okay.
Greasy checkers pieces from everybody eating fried chicken.
Just the rocking chair does not seem like a great way to eat.
We're going to talk about the vibe of a Cracker Barrel. So when you go in a Cracker Barrel, what are some things that you've noticed? You said it feels very homey, very cozy.
Everyone's fat. Everyone's wearing flannel.
I did see a lot of like big bellies and like tucked in plaid shirts.
Suspenders,
Yes.
big belly, bellies hanging over belts. Old.
Sometimes the jeans, like they don't do the jeans under the belly. They're just like, it's going, the largest point is where it's going, right across the button.
I would say the medium age for the Cracker Barrel consumer is 62, 59 to 62.
Yeah.
You walk in, there's maybe a bell on the door. You get the tinkle tinkle of the bell. You're in the old country shop.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Magic 8 Balls and Unos over here. You've got a very, very small but classic music selection over here. Probably a Dolly Parton vinyl and a couple of things like that. You've got a candy section. You're going to have your mallow creams. You're going to have your penny sticks. You're going to have some old-time candies. You're going to have clothing. And it's not all going to be branded clothing. It's going to be like just a weird flannel shirt. It says Cracker Barrel nowhere on it. And maybe a local artisan is selling their clothes there. I'm assuming I will be able to pick up a dream catcher while I'm there. So I'll be able to go home later that night with my belly full and catch a dream. Am I anywhere close?
You are extremely close. There was a lot of like shirts that said like in the spirit, like shirts, dish towels, mugs, all with like things in the vein of like, if mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy, like things like that. Yeah.
There's probably meetings because they're like, can we bring this one in? It's like, it's wine time somewhere. And they're like,
a little too.
I don't know, you guys. I don't know if it is wine time. Not here. Not at the Barrel. Do they call it the Barrel?
Probably internally.
Yeah.
Deep internally.
Not at the B.
So every location is lined with rocking chairs. They were originally wood, and now they're made out of recycled milk jugs.
I like that.
Quite progressive,
Sure,
and also
great.
weather friendly. Every table has a game of wooden peg solitaire. Did you notice that ever when you've been there? It's like a little triangle with little pegs.
Oh, right. Yes, that makes sense.
Every Cracker Barrel dining room has a wood-burning fireplace that is turned on anytime the temperature drops below 40 degrees, which seems a little low. I feel like in LA, like a fireplace is raging if it's like 62.
But wood burning, that's impressive. So someone's job description is to keep the wood burning.
Chop the wood outside the Cracker Barrel.
Got to chop the wood, love.
You were applying for a job as a lumberjack when you were a gay man calling.
That's why they don't hire gays.
That's right.
Gays can't be lumberjacks.
It's illegal.
It's illegal.
When you walk in the stores, there's the old-fashioned candy, as you said. The most popular candy, you were right, is the thin sticks. They said they make the perfect travel companion. Imagine you're cruising down the interstate and you're chomping on a little penny stick.
Oh my God, there's nothing better. And they come in they come in watermelon. They come in root beer. They come in
every
cherry.
flavor.
Well, I'm going to go through all of them.
Okay.
They come in
pink lemonade,
cola.
Sure.
And I don't. Please tell me they're still 10 for $1.
I mean, probably.
No, they're probably 5 for $8.
They're so popular that they sell over 13 million thin sticks a year at 5 inches in length. That's over 1,000 miles from their home office in Lebanon, Tennessee, to San Antonio, Texas.
That tells me nothing. I can't picture where either of those things are. I mean, tell me it's as tall as the Statue of Liberty. Well, that's probably not 1,000 miles.
I mean, how high is that? I don't even know. It's as tall as if you stacked 400 statues of Liberties end to end.
It was just today that the Statue of Liberty is not 1,000 miles tall.
Honestly, I mean, who could say? We'll have to go to New York and measure it.
This made me think of another side story. So we went to, my sister and my 2 nieces, Abby and Elise, went to the Cincinnati Zoo, one of my last nights there, for the Festival of Lights. Very beautiful, lovely lights. All these cool, like almost like, they weren't paper mache, but these glowy animals everywhere, like life-size animals that were like lit from inside and really beautiful.
That's fun.
Found a press penny machine. Okay. Go to the first one. This kid's just standing there cranking it. He's not even getting them, I don't think. I'm just like, I can't. Oh, wait. No. Okay. Al heard that differently. You're a perv. So this kid was
horny
cranking
today.
it at
He
the
saw
zoo.
you. And he's still a little horny.
Horny tonight. So this kid was cranking it, and I was like, I can't wait for this kid to finish cranking it.
Kid, hurry up. I want to crank it.
Kid, I got to crank it too. We're all here to crank it.
My nieces are waiting for me. I have to crank it.
So I left that one. And then towards the end, we come across another one. There's a couple there. They get a penny. I'm reading it. You don't even put a penny in anymore. I forget what it was. It was like $1 for a penny.
And they have pennies like in the machine.
Yeah, or $5 for all 4 designs. So they leave. And
no question what you chose.
Well, I just started to crank it. I started cranking it myself to get to the design I wanted. A penny falls out. I'm like, what? I kept cranking it. Another penny came out. And then I cranked it some more, and a third penny came out. They didn't know that we're supposed to get all 4 designs, and they were already gone. So I got 3 pennies for free.
They thought they had to pay $5 for 1 penny. They're like, well, in this economy, I mean, the value menu is not what it used to be at McDonald's. Sure.
Not even shocked by it.
That is a Christmas miracle.
It really was. And fun. There was 4 designs. Only one of them I didn't like. I didn't get that one. I got the 3 that I wanted.
Oh, that's fantastic. When you've been in a Cracker Barrel, did you notice that like the dining room is filled with, the decor is kind of like eclectic. Mm-hmm. So I was surprised after having been there. I assumed that it was like TGI Fridays, kind of like corporate home goods, TJ Maxx, fake garbage. But they are unique, genuine antiques.
Oh, the things like that are on the wall. There's like an old watering can. And I feel like Cracker Barrel is one of those places I saw when I first got on TikTok years ago. Like teens, rowdy teens would go into a Cracker Barrel and they would like hang a picture of themselves on the wall.
That's fun.
To make it part of like the decor.
That's really cute.
Yeah.
So Dan Evins, he partnered with Kathleen and Don Singleton, who were owners of a local antique shop back in the late 1960s. Each Cracker Barrel location averages around 1,000 authentic artifacts each a reflection of an earlier era and its specific community. So when a new Cracker Barrel opens, the decor team researches the history of the area and tries to find artifacts that will complement the town and the region, almost like a mini museum for your town.
Wow, I'm shocked that much thought goes into it.
Me too. So eventually this would evolve into Cracker Barrel having their own decor warehouse. I mean, talk about a storage unit. A 26,000 square foot building with over 90,000 artifacts and growing.
What?
Isn't that wild?
It's just like this giant prop shop that they get to pull from?
Yes.
Wow.
And I think when they move into an area, they just like scour like Facebook Marketplace. They just try to find like, antiques that are specific to the area, and then they archive them and save them. So this like decor warehouse was run by Kathleen and Don Singleton, who started it, their son, for over 40 years.
That's fun. And I feel like when I first started living on my own, now that I'm thinking about it, I kind of went through that aesthetic.
Oh, yeah.
Like if I would go to like an
wagon
antique
wheel
store, I would buy like a old like washboard or like an old sifter.
Oh,
or
honey,
like,
we all had an old washboard at one time or another.
That's very 90s, I feel like. Very like Friends.
But you have your old screwdriver collection.
Oh, I love my old screwdriver collection. It is one of my favorite things I collect.
There's
something, because everyone, I don't know the story, but everyone has such a story.
Every screwdriver has a story. I agree.
Okay, good. Because I was giving her a look like, okay. It's like, they're all
Yes.
some grandfather. Like, I only collect, if you want to know about my screwdriver collection, it's not in storage. It's in my living room. But if I go to like a yard sale, it's not because they're cheap. It just kind of started out. I think I probably had one for my dad or something, but I only buy wooden handled screwdrivers that look like they're at least 20 to 100 years old. They usually have paint on them.
I mean, at least they have to be older than 20. You're not buying a screwdriver from 2004.
God, I keep doing that. I'm like,
Don't
that was
you
probably
think that
10 years ago. And
yeah,
I'm like, oh, no, that was
1990.
1982.
Yeah, that's
they're
crazy.
probably all like from the 70s or earlier. But like, I now have probably 30. And when you see them all together, it's just, I don't know, there's something about it. It feels very like small town museum or something.
I do love those. I wonder if any of them, you should like have like a forensics team look at those. I wonder if any of them were used to like stab somebody in the eye.
What? That's what you want me to find out about my nostalgic grandfather screwdriver collection?
I mean,
if one of them is a murder weapon?
Some grandfathers got pretty ticked off.
I assume most grandfathers use those screwdrivers to crank in screws. So they were just like in their garage cranking it.
They were cranking it.
They were definitely cranking it.
You know, all men need time to get away from their wives and crank it for a little while. There are 5 common items found in every Cracker Barrel location. So if you go to a Cracker Barrel, this is a fun little game you could play because every location has these 5 things.
A flour sifter?
No.
Oh. A picture of the founder?
No.
Oh.
They're kind of obscure. I don't know if you'll get all of them.
A clock?
A horseshoe.
Oh, a horseshoe.
Hung above all front door exteriors. Good luck bestowed upon all who enter.
In case a shoeless horse arrives.
Sure, which happens. A deer head.
Oh.
Traditionally above the fireplace. A cook stove used in some stores as display in the gift shop. An ox yoke above the front doors as they're nailed above the barn doors in the South. I guess that's a common thing in the South to have an ox yoke above the front door. And a traffic light always placed above the vestibule to light the way to the restrooms.
Oh.
That's a fun game to play with your family.
That would be fun if every time you like lock the restroom door, the like giant red light comes
that'd be
on.
good.
So everyone knows you're in there.
That would actually be helpful because while you're sitting at your table, you're like, oh, I have to pee, but like, I don't want to go if someone's in there. You could just see like, oh, the light's red. I'll just wait a little bit longer. Actually, it would be a really good idea.
It's weird that this is coming up because I know we're not supposed to go off topic, but I actually wanted to bring this up because 2 days ago, can I just ask you, have you ever had to use and not a Publix and not a Trader Joe's?
Okay. A grocery store bathroom.
Yeah. Where you have to go.
Yes. You're in the freezer. You're
behind
in
the meat
bellows.
counter. You have to open the big flaps. I am always I had to do this at Vaughn's 2 days ago. I am convinced I'm going to see rats running all around back there. You're in the freezer. There's always one guy back there doing something.
It's unbelievable that it is acceptable to let the general population enter the back end of a grocery store.
It's wild.
It is wild.
It feels illegal. It feels dirty. It's not like, oh my God, I'm in this secret place.
I'm not going to tamper with anything, but I certainly could.
I definitely could. but I hate it.
I don't want to push through the flaps. If I'm pushing through the flaps, let's just say I'm holding it until I get home.
I'm gonna gag thinking about pushing through that flap.
Was it an emergency?
If you ever see me in a grocery store bathroom, it's an emergency.
Number 1 or number 2?
3.
So one of the things Cracker Barrel is known for originally was their brown paper menu. So it was modeled after like a lunch bag. So Dan Evins had this idea. He's a kind of a funny guy, and he had this idea that it would be a handwritten menu. It would be shaped like a barrel. He would have intentional misspellings to mimic like certain sounds. Like if you had like a country dialect, like how you would say like breakfast would be spelled breakfast, and sandwiches would be sandwiches.
Don't tell me the kids menu is going to have backwards E's.
Probably, yeah. They would call milk moo juice.
Okay.
And bologna dinner would have been lonies and crackers.
No.
And it was kind of meant to be like a souvenir, like a little take-home thing.
Oh, okay.
So this is like, I mean, I think after all of that, you have a sense of what the brand is.
Yeah.
So now we'll just...
Corny.
It's corny. So we'll hitch our wagon as we go through time.
He's listening right now.
God damn it! The one thing I didn't want to be is corny. I thought I was cool all those years.
Every time his family plays Mad Libs, their adjective is always
corny. Describe Dan Evins in one word. Corny. So Cracker Barrel in 1981 became a publicly traded company to raise funds for further expansion. They raised $10.6 million, and it grew at a rate of around 20% per year. So Cracker Barrel is popping now. Now they have more than 50 locations in 1987. They're in 8 states. Annual net sales of almost 81 million. So there was a hole in the market for down-home country cooking.
That's
let's just
a lot
say.
of skinny sticks.
In 1991, in response to a customer complaint, Cracker Barrel fired several gay staffers.
Okay. Oh, what?
Gay. The Tennessee-based chain, now 165 restaurants, later stated that it would not employ people whose sexual preferences failed to demonstrate normal heterosexual values.
So that's real?
Your values are not normal, but it's not because you're homosexual, let's just say.
I was that close to breaking that story?
You were.
I mean, I guess that story
You really were. So
wow.
At the time, it was not illegal because being gay or lesbian was not protected from discrimination for any federal laws.
Oh, the good old days.
Mm-hmm. And then as a response, LGBT activists descended on Cracker Barrel and they protested the policy. And I mean, I'm not extremely shocked that a man who was born in 1935 doesn't have the most progressive ideas, but
I can't say that I'm shocked that a store that requires a deer head doesn't support gay rights.
Sure, but I will give them credit because the community spoke up, there were protests, Cracker Barrel, they got the message, and the policy was discontinued, and then soon after the company officially makes sexual orientation part of their non-discrimination policy. And then even jumping forward a little bit, in 2016, the company adopted a very pro-LGBT stance.
Had to be gay.
You have to be gay.
You had to blow your supervisor.
I was there. I mean, I saw a lot of sashaying around the floor.
Just stick it in the deer head, kid. Oh, that was a glory hole joke. God.
I was just looking at what I was going to say.
I know. You were reading, but on radio, that was... heavy silence.
Stick it in the deer head, kid. You know, actually, I think Dan Evins was onto something. I don't think this is appropriate as I'm knocking back a corn muffin.
It was a glory hole joke.
It was a different time.
A different time.
So then in 1994, we'll go back in time, back to before all the gay stuff. So the chain tested a carry-out store. Turns out, didn't do very well. People really want to have the experience of eating in a Cracker Barrel, because that's why you go. It would be really weird to take Cracker Barrel
I would love a hot mug of gravy that I could just eat on while I'm driving.
They're do you want it in a cup? And you're like, can you put it in a hot drink cup with a
boba straw,
a boba straw,
a big thick straw?
Would you do the white gravy with little sausage nuggies? You could slurp them through that big boba straw,
Yeah, I would definitely do that.
Yeah. I had brown gravy when I was there. Spoiler.
Ew. I'm sure they're both great, but white gravy is what I'm craving.
You're always craving white
brown
gravy.
Gravy seems like dinner. White gravy seems like breakfast. Am I wrong?
No, I guess not. Technically, I was there at lunch.
Okay.
Then they start adding some regional dishes. So like in Texas, they have eggs and salsa and a Reuben in New York.
I have been craving a freaking Zingerman's Reuben so bad.
Okay.
It's every time I do that, I pull up the website and I'm like, am I going to spend $150 for this sandwich?
Well, because it's like minimum order, like serves 8.
And right now when I literally looked last night.
Oh, Jesus.
They were like sold out. And I'm like, am I going to hit like email win back in stock?
I'm one man.
I'm one man.
Can you just like UPS overnight me a Reuben?
Just send me a Reuben. Then I start yelping best Reubens in LA. I think I'm going to go to Oyster.
You're craving a Reuben.
Yeah.
So now we'll just kind of rattle off some timelines. So because, you know, things are just kind of pumping for them. This is, if you had ever seen Cracker Barrel licensed products in the grocery store, they will be called CB Old Country Store because Kraft, what a dork, in 2013, they were like, we own the name Cracker Barrel because it's our cheese company. So if you want like an in-store Cracker Barrel product, it'll be called CB Old Country Store.
Oh, so when I see the Cracker Barrel cheese at the store, that is a completely separate company?
It's Kraft.
Wow, I did not know that.
Wow,
Fun fact.
breaking news. That seemed kind of like a boring fact to me, but I'm really glad that it shook you to your core.
It does, because like big companies like that, I mean, they get in years-long lawsuits for stuff like that, like Apple did with the Beatles record label.
Yeah.
I'm just surprised that I assumed that was the same company.
It's not. It's not. Now you know. By 2011, Cracker Barrel had opened more than 600 restaurants in 42 states. So they expanded like gangbusters.
That's a lot.
It is.
And I feel like the last one you threw out was 30 restaurants.
It really blasted off. They expanded in the West Coast in 2017.
They were cranking those out.
And imagine each one. It was someone's job to find antiques.
1,000 antiques.
1,000 antiques. So 1,000 times 600.
6 million antiques.
600 million
That's
antiques.
as tall as the Statue of Liberty.
That's a lot of deer heads.
That's all. We're going to be killing deer for a couple of years.
They start killing deer just to furnish.
If you see a deer, kill it. Can I just say, when I'm at my sister's house at Christmas, usually you'll see deer just walking the yard.
Oh.
I mean, it's so great.
Imagine seeing a deer and your first thought being like, hand me my gun. The most like gentle, docile, like sent from the heavens creature. And it's like,
kill it.
Kill it.
And then cut off its head.
Cut off its I shall eat gravy as I look into its dead eyes. You know, COVID, we talk about how it's impacted restaurants. Of course, they partnered with DoorDash in 2020. And then they started adding alcohol to their menu in 2020 as well, which was somewhat controversial. And what some people call the beginning of the end.
Really? Are these the same ones that hate homos, though? I
mean, it's hard to say who's who.
I'm not a drinker, but I feel like everyone deserved a drink during COVID.
Sure.
And I think it made sense that restaurants made that part of what you were able to get.
I think that was just kind of folding into like things are kind of starting to change. As so many restaurants were impacted, declining sales, obviously, like people aren't eating out. They're starting to pivot. I mean, you and Al might be later.
David is.
In 2021, Cracker Barrel opened not 1, not 2.
600.
But 3 ghost kitchen concepts in Los Angeles. Do you remember this in 2021?
No, but you know who else does ghost kitchens?
Who?
Goop, which was our first show of last year.
Oh my gosh, yes.
There's the common thread. I love a ghost kitchen. If you're not familiar with the ghost kitchen, are you about to tell us what that is?
They're very scary. It's a kitchen run by ghosts.
They find the scariest dead chefs. They hire them for minimum wage.
Yep.
No, but ghost kitchen is like a kitchen that will make food for several different restaurants that don't have like a storefront.
Yeah, so like a takeout only or a delivery only restaurant.
Yeah, and that's what Goop does. And I got to say, I mean, the food that they were making for Goop was top notch.
Well, you know what? It was not top notch at Cracker Barrel Kitchen.
Gray gravy.
Cracker Barrel Kitchen was one of them. Pancake Kitchen, which was just pancakes. And Chicken and Biscuits, which was fried chicken entrees and sides. They have all since
flourished. Closed, huh?
I think they were hoping that maybe there are people there's so many transplants here that maybe people are nostalgic for it, but...
I thought you were going to say trans people. I was like, wow, they really have gone all in. We're going to LA to give all the trans people...
What they want.
Which
is chicken.
And deer heads. But I could see it being like in LA, there's a lot of things that aren't in the city, but you'll hit them as soon as you're on the outskirts of the city.
Yes.
And I could see them. I do feel like that is where they live.
Yeah, like if you moved here from Tennessee and you're just like so desperate for Cracker Barrel, just like you'll drive 40 minutes like once every 3 months.
You have no idea how many times I Google Maps Long John Silver's and I'm like, 40 miles away. Or I Google Maps Red Lobster, 38
You're
miles
not
away.
going to Long John Silver. The last time I went to a Long John Silver, it was not good.
Babe, that was not the last time I went to a Long John Silver's.
When was the
I've
last
been to
time?
Long John Silver's 15 times since that shitty one in Vegas. That's so cute that you were like, we're all done with this. I probably went to that same one on the way home.
When was the last time you've been to Long John Silver's?
In April when I was home.
Was it good?
Yeah.
Okay.
The ones in Ohio are good.
What do they call like the little bits at the bottom?
We just called them crunchies. We would ask for extra crunchies.
Mm.
And then, like, I have been sometimes where they charge you 15 cents. Like, what's the point?
15 cents.
That'll be 15 cents for some crunchies. Oh, and then the worst. So we used to have a few Long John Silvers, but they were like one of those, like, split with a KFC.
Yeah.
So you would have, like, KFC's coleslaw, which was not creamy like Long John Silver's, but I can get over that. But I went once and I was like, could I get some crunchies? And they're like, I was like, the crunchy things like when you make the fish. And they're like, okay. So I get home and I open the box. It was like they had taken the bottom tray of the oven and it was just like black oil. And like, I almost puked.
Like the crumb tray of like a toaster.
Of like the chicken. Like it was like just, it was like the
Yuck.
garbage. Like it was so, because the crunchies are like,
They
They're yummy.
were doing that order and then they were pushing like a panic button under the table to be like 911, we have an insane man.
are you sure this is what he asked for? Yes, he said he wanted the things at the bottom of the tray.
He wants to drink our like grease trap.
Oh, God.
911. Wow. That is crazy. So that's kind of where Cracker Barrel has landed. Obviously, there's a ton of locations, a few in California. The ghost kitchens have closed.
So you said that when you were in Florida, you went there for research and ate there?
I did, yes.
So what was your experience?
So I was expecting that Cracker Barrel, based on everything I had said previously about like the effort to make it like quality and like it seems like it's meant to be like, grandma's cooking, and even something that I saw on their website that says like at the core of who we are and have been since the beginning, high quality food, homemade with care. They say if we can't source the highest quality ingredients for a menu item, we simply don't serve it. Blueberries from Maine, Florida oranges for our fresh squeezed juice, 100% natural syrup, bottled in Vermont, macaroni made by the same family business for more than 100 years, rainbow trout sourced from fresh spring waters, hand roller biscuits, mashed potatoes made from scratch, slow roast beef for 18 hours in every store. If you hear that, like, what are you expecting? Yeah, right? That.
Coming.
Honey.
No.
Honey.
No. It was all just like,
Honey.
they had honey?
They did have honey, actually.
It was probably honey sauce.
Cannot legally call it honey.
Like KFC. This sounds like a KFC story.
It was the most microwaved
No.
from a bag.
Well, what did you get, first of all?
I got the chicken tender plate. As I said, I ate a lot of chicken tenders.
You're coming from Publix,
No,
though.
it was fried chicken. I got mashed potatoes. I tried their hash brown casserole. I had biscuits. I had cornbread.
That all sounds great.
I mean, I was all over it. I was having everything.
No good? None of it? No standouts?
David had the chicken fried steak. He said it was one of the worst things he's eaten in recent memory.
Wow.
That beef that you heard about in my description that it's slow roasted for 18 hours is no longer on the menu.
Wow.
It's been phased out as of 3 months ago. Something is happening at Cracker Barrel.
Well, it also, I mean, a lot of places are getting a little leeway because of food supply chains and things like that. Do you think it's that, or do you think it's just gone downhill?
I went to the Cracker Barrel subreddit where employees...
I was going to say corporate offices.
I went to corporate office. I click-clacked in my high heels.
That's why you extended your trip 2 days?
Yes, I had to stop to make in Tennessee. I wanted to see, am I just kind of like an LA snob?
Yes.
Yes, in some ways.
Short answer, yes.
Turns out something is changing at Cracker Barrel. And the quality from employees, they say things used to be made from scratch. Now it's dehydrated hash browns.
Oh, God.
It's not like fresh made, whatever, made in the morning. The potatoes, they tasted like they were instant mashed potatoes. The employees confirm that there are instant mashed potatoes, though on the website they say they are made from scratch, which feels like a crime. Here's the Cracker Barrel blog. Here's a comment on it. Don't know what's happened over the last few months. This is from last year. The shrimp used to be the best in a 50-mile radius. Usually, this seems like something you would say, usually served 12 to 14 medium to large shrimp. Now they are all small to popcorn size.
Oh, boy.
We've been getting a lot of tails without the shrimp.
No.
Oops, all tails.
Oops, all tails. Oh, gosh.
Can you imagine?
I gotta say, though, I mean, who's going to Cracker Barrel for shrimp?
I mean, it seems like a place where...
I got a taste for something from the sea.
So that seems to be kind of what everyone's saying. So like I said, the employees say that the food is like pre-made, frozen, microwave, dehydrated. One Reddit user sums it up. Cracker Barrel food is 100% dog shit in 2024. I've seen better food in remote gas stations than I did at Cracker Barrel recently. Things are going downhill fast.
I blame the gays. That was the end of his thing.
I mean, it needs like a makeover. It needs like a queer eye for the Cracker Barrel guy. That old timer, they take him out of his overalls and get him in some like leather pants.
The man. Well, that's disappointing. I guess I'm not surprised though. Doesn't it happen to everyone? Do you remember 15 years ago, which probably means 40 years ago, when Whole Foods, do you remember Whole Foods self-serve macaroni and cheese?
I mean, not as well as you do probably, but yeah, I know of it.
You don't?
I mean,
it was orgasmic. And they're like, it's $80 a pound. You're like, okay, I guess, but it's so good.
Yeah.
Now it's trash.
That's kind of how everything is. Everybody's penny pinching. Everyone's cutting corners. And I will say, even though they've opened new locations, the third fiscal quarter, we're business people, we know fiscal quarters of 2024, they had a net loss of $9 million.
I never understand things like that.
Well, I'll explain it to John.
No, I get what a net loss is. I just don't understand how they exist.
What if our podcast was operating at a $9 million loss?
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine? This is a problem for someone in the restaurant business, and this is where I think they go wrong. This is my hazinga. This is my note. When a restaurant starts to kind of go downhill, they start to get some losses, they penny pinch, and then the quality drops down, which just contributes to further customer fall off. You have to reinvest, spend more, make the quality. This is what they're doing at Red Lobster.
This is what they didn't do at KFC with that gravy. They're like, pinch the pennies and get rid of they probably use those things that they put in my box to make that gravy originally, those drippings.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, powder it, bitch. Powder it.
Powder it, bitch.
Powder it, bitch is the theme to every decline of every restaurant.
It is a true hazinga, and Cracker Barrel is... There's like articles literally from like 3 days ago that are like, can Cracker Barrel be saved? Like this is
breaking news.
This is like breaking news. It's like so in the zeitgeist right now that everyone's talking about like what's going on with Cracker Barrel. And so I feel like this is really timely, and that was intentional.
That I am shocked by.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like they're not the first restaurant. Like Olive Garden has definitely gone through like are they going to make it or are they not?
Exactly the same. Olive Garden, they're penny pinching. The pasta, the cheapest thing to make, pasta. Like you're having it in a Ziploc bag, you cut off the corner, you like toss it in the microwave. Like this is like frozen dinners.
I saw one employee post on that, and they're like, if you like our Alfredo, it's Rana. Go to Vons and get Rana. And I did, and it is, and now I just get Rana.
Oh my God.
And you can get better bread, so just go get some Rana. Is that what it's called? The RANA, I think. It's in the refrigerated section.
That is so funny.
Just get some Rana.
Yeah, they're going downhill. They're all going downhill. It's such a bummer. It's such a bummer. But let's get into some fun facts.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow.
Did you know that Cracker Barrel has a Grammy?
Yeah, I did.
You did?
No, of course not. What did they do? They made a record and put it on like a bucket? A barrel?
They partnered with Dolly Parton in 2012. You were right about Dolly Parton.
What did I say? I knew Miss Parton had weaseled her way into here.
They got their first ever certified gold record called An Evening with Dolly, which was a 2-disc live album. And then in 2017, they teamed up with Dolly and Pentatonics. Do you know that a cappella group?
I do.
They did a collab with Dolly, a remake of Jolene, and then they got their first ever Grammy. So Cracker Barrel has a Grammy. They are as close to becoming an EGOT as you.
Oh my God, we're both 1/4 EGOTs.
You're both 1/4 EGOT.
If we combined my gayness and research with their country music? My God.
You're halfway there, baby. Cracker Barrel, they really want stories and connection to be a big part of their narrative. So this is a story they like to tell. A police officer named John Branson was eating in a Cracker Barrel, and he noticed a man named Edgar Roberts was dining alone. And he was wearing a Vietnam Marine cap. So John took the time to sit and visit with Edgar and discovered that Edgar was in need of a new kidney. And after being tested, John learned he was a perfect match and surprised Edgar with an offer to donate his kidney. So on the website, they say, this is just an example of the amazing stories that we've been told in our history. If you are in need of a kidney, hang out in a Cracker Barrel and look very lonely, and you might get your wish.
What?
Isn't that insane?
That's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Would you ever give your kidney to a stranger, or would you save it for your kids?
I hang out in a Cracker Barrel just looking for somebody who looks a little woebegone, and I'm just waiting. I'm just waiting to find my special someone.
Ma'am, this woman keeps offering me her kidney. Could I sit by the window?
I want a good view of the deer head. I want to look into its dead eyes. Here's one other cute little story from 1977 to 2017. Married couple Ray and Wilma Yoder drove a combined total of more than 5 million miles, an average of 342 miles per day, to visit 644 Cracker Barrel locations.
Why?
When the company...
That's my why. Wait, I mean, was there a purpose?
I mean, it was like a checklist, like see if they could visit them all.
They didn't work for the company?
No.
This was just to do?
It was a hobby. This is their foreplay.
No, okay. Cut back to Converse. My why makes a lot more sense here than your why.
That's funny. It's both people traversing the nation.
That's true.
Yeah, that's
Mine
funny.
for a reason.
Yours for profit. Theirs is for pleasure. When the company opened their 645th restaurant in Oregon in August 2017, which was on Ray Yoder's 81st birthday, Cracker Barrel flew the Yoders out for a grand opening and presented them with custom aprons and rocking chairs, among other gifts. So that's cute. This is where I get like conflicted about Cracker Barrel. It's like I hear things like this, and then I hear like dehydrated potatoes, and I'm like, we're missing the message. It's just not congruent. I need to be promoted to CEO stat.
Yeah.
I implore you, if you're listening and you work for a corporate, I can save this company.
This is how you want to dedicate your next 3 years?
Give me a shot.
The CBT, the Cracker Barrel turnaround?
I need to. I'm the only one I'm confident I am the only one who can do it.
You come out on stage, I'm down with CBT, and you're like, what? Cracker Barrel turnaround, and people just start getting up to leave. No, sit back down.
I'm making $50 million a year.
Yeah.
I could do it. I know I could do it.
So I guess with all that in mind, would you say that Cracker Barrel is on brand for you?
I would say in every way except the actual food that comes out of the kitchen.
This being a restaurant brand.
Being a restaurant brand, but the gift shop, the stick candy, the antiques. When I walked in, David said, like, well, what do you think about the way it looks in here? I said, this is the perfect restaurant. It's like my ideal way for a restaurant to look. And that's hard on brand for me.
It's a hard on brand.
It's a hard on brand. The food is not on brand for me. And that's only because I have been misled. If it was exactly as they said, blueberries from Maine, Vermont maple syrup, handmade scratch mashed potatoes, that's a hard on too.
Yeah.
That's
something you can crank to.
Don't piss on my head and tell me it's raining.
Okay.
That's what I'll say to Cracker Barrel.
All right.
Fool me once. Shame on you. I'm going back. Fool me twice. Shame on me.
The CEO's reaching under the table to hit the panic button. She wants me to piss on her head.
Me at a board meeting.
Yeah.
I stand by it. And if anybody listening has any experience, if you worked at a Cracker Barrel, if you've dined there, I'm dying to know what you think. And if you ate there like 10 years ago, was it like truly grandma's cooking, the best thing you ever ate?
Yeah.
I'm dying to know.
Has it changed for the worse?
Do you remember the food being excellent?
No, I don't even remember if I've ever had a meal there. I feel like I've stopped in the gift shop.
Shop.
I just honestly don't remember it well enough to give an opinion. Well, I got to say, babe, that was a really fun episode.
Thank you so much. And it's great to be back on the mic, I got to say.
I love podding. I'm glad we're back at it. I got to say, I've already picked, I mean, it can always change, but I've picked 12 of my brands for the year already. We both get, 26 brands to do a year. I have 12 that I'm tinkering with right now.
That's really special.
So, and I am very excited about my brand next week.
Ooh, I'm excited. excited.
I picked it like last week. I could not figure it out, and then I picked one, and I'm so excited.
Oh my gosh, how fun.
So before we wrap it up, I wanted to give some shout outs to our Insta Egg winners from both the Candy Cane episode and KFC. So I've already taken care of all of it, and I'm just going to go through the names. If you're unaware, every Wednesday on our Instagram story, I post an Insta Egg, which is a puzzle that allows you to guess what the following day's episode is going to be about, what our brand is. If you guess it, you get your name in our Wheel of Freaks, and I spin the wheel, and you get a chance to be our Freak of the Week. So be sure to follow us on Instagram, and you can click a little thing so that you get a pop-up when I post things in our story, and then you'll know when it's there, and you can guess, and you can be a Freak of the Week. Sorry, this is long out. There's 10. I'm going to give 10 quick shout-outs to these Freaks of the Week. We have Eric John. We have Matt P.S. We have Rosie Maria. We have Dancerer and Chrissy. Those are our KFC winners. And then for Candy Canes, we have Lane Goertz, Joe Andrews, Carla Shemansky, Jennifer Millward Dirkheising, and Aaron Looper. So congratulations, you guys. Thank you so much for playing the Insta Egg. I love making them. I appreciate you guessing them. So you guys are Freaks of the Week, and we'll have 5 more next week.
And while we're giving shout outs, I'd like to give some shout outs to some lovely listeners who left us 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. Adam Renz, Robin Red, and Architect Jess. Thank you so much for the lovely reviews. Again, if you haven't left us a review on Apple Podcasts, please do that. It really helps us out, and it lifts our mood. As we've mentioned, this is our hobby, and we screenshot the nice reviews and we text them to each other, and it just makes our day.
It really does.
It really does.
It really does.
It does, like, too much.
Yeah. Let's just say we crank it to these reviews.
If you want to play Jon's Insta Egg game, follow us at OnBrandThePod on Instagram and at OnBrandThePodcast on TikTok. And with that, we will be back next week with an all-new episode.
And remember, just like last year and the year before, we may go off topic, but we will always be on brand.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Are you looking for a new job or want a career change? Look no further than Monster.com. Need a little help standing out? Our expert resume writing services will make sure you shine. Want to brush up on your interview skills? Engage with our AI interview prep tool. Want some advice on negotiating your new salary? Visit our salary tools and extensive library of career advice articles, and you'll have all the tips and tricks you'll need to succeed. Visit Monster.com today and take the first step towards your career. Monster.com. Find your right job fit.